Part of our long-term national security has to be having an American energy policy. I want America to become so energy independent that no American president ever again bows to a Saudi king. And let me give you an example of a common-sense conservatism that solves problems. You have well over $29 billion of natural gas offshore.
The comment about bowing to a king? Who was that, a Saudi king? When it's part of the ritual of diplomacy, and Presidents Reagan and Bush did similar, if not identical, things. You can fool some of the people some of the time. Abraham Lincoln did not say. And it was not said by Lincoln, but it is true nonetheless. And we return to that already in progress.
The Corps of Engineers' current bureaucracy is so long and so stupid that they currently take 8 years to study, not to do the project, to study the project. We fought the entire Second World War in 3 years and 8 months. Now, if you can beat Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan in 3 years and 8 months, it is almost unimaginable that it now takes 8 years to study the project. So I want to fundamentally overhaul the entire federal government at every level to produce a modern, lean, effective federal government. Let me also say that the President's decision to veto the Keystone Pipeline, you know, you have to wonder how out of touch with reality this administration is. It's one thing to say that they can't play chess at the White House. It's another thing to say they can't play checkers at the White House. But if they can't play tic-tac-toe, the President says, no, we don't want you to build a pipeline from central Canada straight down with no mountains intervening to the largest petrochemical center in the world, Houston, so that we would make money on the pipeline, we'd make money on managing the pipeline, we'd make money on refining the oil, and we'd make money up in the ports of Houston and Galveston shipping the oil. Oh, no, we don't want to do that because Barack Obama is taking care of his extremist left-wing friends in San Francisco. They think that'll really stop the oil from getting out. No. What Prime Minister Harper, who, by the way, is a conservative and pro-American, what he has said is he's going to cut a deal with the Chinese, and they'll build a pipeline straight across the Rockies to Vancouver. We will get none of the jobs, none of the energy, none of the opportunity. Now, an American president who can create a Chinese-Canadian partnership is truly a danger to this country. But it gets worse. Last Sunday, the Saudis announced they were signing a deal with the Chinese to build nuclear energy facilities in Saudi Arabia. So the Saudis are now saying,
I think at the point at which the victor in South Carolina declares the President of the United States truly a danger to this country is the point at which we cut him off. Drop the shot. The man not only barraged us with every cliche except employees must wash their own hands before going back to work, but there were a series of lies and obfuscations in there, in addition to distortions of reality, that will indicate to you just how out of touch Mr. Gingrich is relative to reality, and what those Republican elites that he keeps talking about are fearful about in terms of his being the nominee. The man is not telling the truth at a remarkable rate. I don't know that I can speak as fast as he can lie. A couple of other notes here. He described the media, the elite media. He'll be appearing on Meet the Press and Face the Nation tomorrow. He mentioned in the same speech about the elites in Washington, and then reviewed his record as Speaker of the House of Representatives, which is one of the most elite jobs Washington has to offer anybody. And, of course, he did do that shout-out to Rick Santorum, which goes back to what we were talking about before. He has made an impact. And he has attributes that include the values of social conservatism, so he shouted out to Santorum. We now move on to Florida, and we now have the word unleash involved in the Gingrich candidacy. One other note relative to this campaign, a television note. I don't know if this is counter-programming or total coincidence, but on the night that Newt Gingrich comes from 23 points behind in the polls a week ago to winning by perhaps 15 points in the South Carolina primary. On Turner Classic Movies tonight, the Kirk Douglas Celeste Holm hit aired at 8 p.m. from 1949, A Letter to Three Wives. Somebody has to have planned that, or perhaps planned what happened in South Carolina. I want to mention in passing, with my great thanks to Steve Kornacki of Salon and everybody else who was involved in our program tonight, that during the reporting of the South Carolina primary, I repeated what CBS Sports had confirmed, that Joe Paterno, the Penn State coach, had died at the age of 85. His family has since issued a statement saying that that is not true, that Joe Paterno is quite ill, but was, according to one local reporter in Harrisburg, still able to communicate. There are various reports, though, and the family did not contradict these, that Joe Paterno was near death. Again, not relevant to South Carolina, but we did, in fact, mention it, and I thought we needed to clear it up before we signed off. That is our coverage for tonight. Gingrich wins, America loses. See you later.